Hello everyone, thank you for stopping by my channel. All of us as XJWs, at times we meet different individuals that come across in our lives, and I'm here to introduce someone that I met a while back through a good friend of mine, Sean. It's his cousin, Megan, and it's a pleasure meeting you finally, Megan. I know we've talked a lot on social media through Messenger and stuff like that, and I'm glad I finally have met you. Now, Megan has a very unique story that I feel all of us in this community should give a listen. It really brings things, I would say, brings it home, where we understand what this is, and this is one of our big issues with the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses. And there's a lot of egregious things that the Watchtower knows about and still covers up to this day. And Megan has a story that she would like to share. And why don't we just start off by kind of starting how your life began. Were you born as a Jehovah's Witness yourself, Megan?
Yes. My mom wasn't baptized yet. Neither was my father, but in fact, I remember watching my mom get baptized. I believe it was like 83. I have the specific memories. I was not but a few years old, but I remember standing on the seat at the assembly hall, and my foot getting stuck while I was trying to watch, and my sister helping me out. But yeah, I was raised a witness my whole life.
Right. See, my story is kind of similar in that way as well. I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. I was born in, and so was Megan. And it's really hard for us because I take it, of course, you're not a witness anymore, right?
No, I've been to fellowship for the third time.
Oh, so you've been in and out a few times. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask you about that. Do you ever think about going back again?
No, never.
Not again.
Never.
Yeah.
They couldn't pay me enough.
Yeah. Well, I understand that a lot. Your story is very unique, and I know it's going to come out in this video, some of the details of your story. And for me to kind of help you start, on my video channel, I have a video of, it's Jack Poley, a good friend of mine. He did a video where he secretly recorded his judicial hearing when he got disfellowshipped. Megan, can you tell us what makes that video so unique to you?
Matt Bennett is on his committee, and he's my brother.
Megan, this is a very hard story for her to share, but she wants all of you to hear this, and I decided to help her out and try to get her word out of what this person is. But Megan's brother is Matt Bennett, and he was one of the members of the Judicial Committee that sat on Jack's judicial hearing, and Jack, of course, got disfellowshipped. What can you tell me about your growing up with your big brother? What can you tell me about, if it's okay, I want to make sure you feel safe discussing these things, but obviously there's a lot of trauma and hurt feelings and terrible situations that I have a hard time grasping. But what can you, this is your way of telling your story. What can you tell us about this elder that we have recorded?
Just to hear him called an elder makes me sick. They're supposed to be somebody you can look up to, right?
Yeah.
I have so many memories. The main one so vivid. I just remember being in I was 5. I was in kindergarten. I remember sitting in class
And about how old was he about this time?
Matthew is, I think, like 8, almost 9 years older than me. So he was good, probably 14. I know he was in high school.
Okay.
Big difference. You know, I was 5. I was in kindergarten. Like I just showed you the picture earlier. The difference of me, I would look like a little tiny little kid.
You were a tiny little kid.
A big kid, you know. But I remember I was learning about good and bad touches and to come straight to the counselor. And something inside me said, you know, you're not allowed to talk to these people. Just go home and say something to your parents. And I did that. I went home and talked to my mom. It was very uncomfortable for me to talk to her, but I did. And I told her that Matthew had been touching me. And that I learned at school that was not okay.
Right.
That
you learned this at school. You didn't learn this from your mom and dad.
Right. I learned it at school during the good touch and no touch class from the counselor. And so I mentioned it to my mother, and she said she would handle it. Well, she handled it the best she knew how, I guess. I think we were in McKinley Heights congregation at the time.
I used to go there.
McKinley Heights.
I used to go to McKinley Heights.
On 72nd.
Yeah.
I remember the congregation very well. I remember a lot of the people. I remember exactly what the building looked like, and the blue, the old, you know, it was so old, and the bathrooms when you first came in, you know. Oh man, it was a long time ago. The little water fountain when you first came in, remember in the beginning? You walked through the doors, and off to the left was some old restrooms, and the back room where they get the talks at, and the literature counters. And anyhow, my mom and my father, they contacted the elders and told them what my brother had been doing. And they came to the house to speak to Matt. At the house my father still lives in now, 37 years. I remember playing, I was in the kitchen playing while they were talking to him, and they kept telling him that, you know, it wasn't something he should continue doing, and they read him some scriptures, and I just kept listening because Mom always said I was so nosy. But I wanted to know what they were saying to him. And they told him, you know, it was not okay, and, you know, he shouldn't, you know, keep doing that, and but that they would take care of it. They would take care of it. And then I remember they let him go, and they called me in there. And I just remember the brothers sitting me down and telling me, well, we know that what Matt did to you wasn't right. We know that, you know, it makes you uncomfortable. And they said, one day, you know, your brother, he's going to be an adult, and he's going to be important. And he's going to be important. And as long as you are alive on this earth, not to tell anyone what had happened, because we don't want to cause any problems for your brother. And I told them, okay. And they asked me if I understood what they meant, and I said, yeah. I mean, I didn't really get it. I was 5, I guess. I kind of got it, but I didn't. And they were like, you know, you can just don't ever talk about it again, like it didn't happen.
Right.
That's
They wanted you to be quiet.
Right. For me, now when I look back, it's like they were abusers too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they was, you know, how people, you know, you hear stories all the time. If you tell your parents, tell me, I'll kill your family or I'll do something. You know, like abusers tell you that way. They keep you quiet and afraid. That's what the same thing the brothers did. Oh, your brother's gonna be important. You better not tell nobody. You know. And
so this was around when you said 14. First of all, how long did this go on for? Because this doesn't sound like one incident, which isn't good at all.
Right.
But was it going on for quite a while?
This was after the first incident was when they came through the house, and then but it continued for quite some time.
It continued to go on. Yeah,
and then the physical abuse because of me telling on him continued for years, many years.
So then, as kind of like an act of vengeance, Big Brother was cruel and abusive to you from that point on. For many years, for you tattling on him.
Yeah. I'm scared of the sound of tasers, man. Even from far away, because he would shock me.
He would shock you?
With a cattle prod.
A cattle prod?
Yeah.
Are you serious? That's terrible, Megan.
It wasn't very nice.
We gotta get you some more tissues here.
Thanks.
I'm really sorry to hear this.
My dad was in the military for 9 years or something, and he had the military Foot Locker.
So your parents, it sounds like to me, your parents, no offense to your parents, but
They weren't there.
they just, yeah, they weren't there. And they kind of like, okay, the elders dealt with it, now we can move on. They don't understand the gravity of this type of behavior, it seems like. They didn't want to monitor your brother and figure out what he's doing.
Right.
Where was Dad to set his son straight on this kind of stuff? It sounds like it was completely out of the picture. They weren't doing anything. They just figured it was dealt with and that was it.
I don't even know where my father was most times. I mean, I knew he had to work a lot. But
And the thing is you could hardly defend yourself. You were a little girl. And Matt, I actually know who Matt is, and he's a big man. He's not only tall, but he's big. And this is horrible. I don't know what to say. I'm completely dumbfounded. But your parents weren't there. The elders dealt with it, and it continued. And how did things go? How did you?
I kind of, I don't know. I just had to learn to deal with it or accept it. You know, it sounds weird, but I didn't really have a choice. I didn't have anybody to hear me. Mm-hmm. And I became very, just to myself, very shy. I never wanted to talk to people. Mm-hmm. Ever. Mm-hmm. Like, even in school, we weren't allowed to have no friends anyways if they weren't Jehovah's Witnesses, and even they weren't allowed to come over. It's like my parents knew stuff was going on, so I couldn't have no friends to spend the night, really, just every once in a while.
Right.
As an adult, and I think back, like, over the stuff, it's like, man, they knew a lot more than they was willing to admit, or you know what I mean? Like, they just would turn their cheek to it, like, oh, we don't see it, it's not happening, you know. My mom until she passed, she kept on, oh, it only happened one time. I said, Mom, you wasn't there.
Right.
You wasn't there. Day after day, you went to work. When we got out of school, we came home, and Matt would abuse me, and you wasn't there. He would abuse me just until my mom got home. He knew when she was coming. She came home the same time every day.
And he would just
let me out the box. I tell people all the time, well, I'm not. That's what I get when you're raised in a box, and people was like, oh, she's crazy. Well, no, I was put in a box every day.
What was this box all about? What is this?
My dad was in the Army for a couple years, and he had the military Foot Locker, the metal ones. And yeah. After Matt would beat me with whatever, hangers, or choke me with the cattle prod, or even when I was wide awake, he'd just put me in there, put me in the box so I couldn't fit anymore. Yeah. And he would lock it with locks on it, and they would stand me on my head, and he would push me down the stairs in it. And
he would push you down the stairs in the box.
In the house, yeah. Mom wanted to know why our walls was all tore up. But
how many times would he do this?
Over and over, and then they'd pull me back up the stairs and run me down again.
They thought it was funny, huh?
Yeah. Well, Matthew thought it was funny, yeah. Nobody else was really involved. Mark was there, but I know they just kind of stand back like he didn't know what was going on. He's kind of goofy anyways, my brother, my other brother, but I don't know.
It sounds like totally unsupervised behavior with someone that's sadly is rather sadistic.
Very sick, very sick.
Yeah, to do that over and over again with no conscience at all.
To anybody, let alone your sister.
Yeah.
You know?
And this was after one moment where you stood up for yourself and you told the elders or explained what was going on. But I'm sorry, your parents, it seems like they handled it all the wrong way. And I think I know why. It's because they listened to the elders. Yeah. And that's the last thing you want to do, especially with personal family problems like that. You don't listen to the elders at all. So it went on for quite a while after that. And when did it eventually stop? When did it, do you remember?
I don't even know if I could really just put my finger on it, because Matthew got married when I was still a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was still little ways of him being abusive, you know, even if it was just looking at me. It was like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get put in a box. I better, you know, go sit in my little corner by myself, you know.
So you had that
was,
fear every time, even though you were getting older.
his voice and on Jack's thing, you know. Just,
yeah, hearing his voice. Well, I'm so overwhelmed by hearing some of these specifics of your experience. You did mention how you've had struggles from these early childhood experiences, that some of it, you know, from what I've gotten to know from you, you've come to grips with a lot of things, and you're slowly, in a way, moving on, but it's very, very difficult because you suffer from a lot of trauma. One of the things it sounds like to me you have a hard time continuing with, that's so hurtful and painful, is that Matt Bennett, we'll say in the Jehovah's Witness world, he's a success story. He is he's a prominent elder that disfellowships people, tells out people what to do with their lives, and people in that world look up to him. But on the other hand, his sister, which of course is you bear the brunt of a lot of his abuse and ugly skeletons that the public audience and, say, his local congregation don't know anything about.
He's married to such a beautiful, beautiful woman. She's black. Stacy is her name.
Yeah.
They have a son together. But I remember my brother standing on the front porch in his khaki outfit with his hair clumped a certain type of way and his fake mustache, hailing Hitler on the front porch of my parents' house. He was married to a black woman.
Oh, really? He did that?
Many times.
Why did he do that?
I have no idea. I don't know if he thought it was funny. It was something they just learned in school. I don't know. But that's not okay.
Well, it is unacceptable, especially when you know what Hitler stood for.
Everything about him is just not okay. My whole brother, everything, I don't know where he came from, but man.
Well, it sounds like to me Matt was a real monster when he was...
He's still a monster, just he has a very...
a
mask that people have...
I would be very... For anybody who sees this video from the Wapato congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, I would say be very, very careful around Matt Bennett. I'm shocked to hear some of this, and I know that many of you out there will be as well. Now, you've had some very difficult times. Tell us how things are going now in your life. What's your daily routine like? Tell me some of the things that you contend with. It's hard.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I can say a couple things here. Tell me. I remember. I want you guys to understand that I know Megan's family a little bit. I know her cousin Kelly and Kelly's brother Sean. They're both good friends of mine, and Megan is in good hands. There are people that look after her, check in on her once in a while to make sure everything's okay. And I just want you to know that, you know, it takes guts. I want to how do I say this? I want to support your bravery right now. You are standing up And this is your chance to really say what you have to say
I just
about.
want to be able to help one person.
Well, that's
To know that it's okay to say something.
yeah.
And I have to hold it.
And,
Talk about it, you know.
yeah,
Why they end up like me.
right. I know it's horrible. There's been many stories I've heard in the YouTube community of ex-witnesses that have shared some of their personal trials that they went through in the organization and leaving. But tell me, you have a couple kids, right?
I have 2 sons.
How many?
2.
2 sons?
Mm-hmm.
And how hard is that for you? I know you get to talk to them and you get to see them once in a while.
I see them as they pass my van. I live in outside of their house. And Malachi might wave or Juwan will wave, but that's really about it. Cause
Are those things you're comfortable talking about?
yeah,
or?
yeah.
Well, Megan right now, she lives right in front of her father's home. She's living in a van right now, and it's very difficult, and they won't allow her, I guess, to necessarily have access to the home.
They used to more so when I stayed there the first time, but after I opened my mouth and sat down and spoke to my father to tell him the things that Matthew had done to me over the years that my father didn't know of, or the things my cousin had done to me over the years that my father didn't know of. 2 days after that, he messaged me and asked me if I was an apostate. And I said, why on earth would you ask me that? Who said something like that? And he said, nobody. It's just the things that you were saying to me that day made me wonder. And I said, I don't know how to classify myself. You know what I'm saying? So
if you're physically and sexually abused and you speak out about it and tell your family what happened, that makes you an apostate?
That's pretty much what he said.
Did you hear that? So that's what makes you didn't really come to him to talk about what's wrong with the organization that he belongs to.
Not at all.
You just wanted to tell him what Matt was. And the first thing he says is, or wants to know is, if you're an apostate.
I said, I thought an apostate meant I didn't believe in Jehovah or that I spoke against the congregation. I said, I'm not speaking against. I said, what I do, you know, outside of here is a little different, Dad. I said, but the conversation I had with you was generally just what had happened and why I am the way I am, why I've become who I've become, why I live in my van in your front yard.
Right.
And after that, they pretty much just, they don't know me anymore.
Right.
Overnight.
Well, you know, it's funny. As we all know, a lot of us are aware that, you know, with Jehovah's Witnesses, the word apostate is a real evil word, really. Like they embellish really what the definition of it means. You can be an apostate of any belief system out there. I could be Jewish and then one day say, I don't want to be Jewish anymore. And that's really fulfilling the definition of an apostate. But it's funny how Jehovah's Witnesses take it to a higher level. And it's a very derogatory word. It's a hateful word that they put on people. And
it made us very afraid of people that didn't believe what they believed as a child.
Right.
We'd see them outside with their signs and, run, don't look at their direction. And it was like, why? I want to know.
Yeah. It's funny, but, I remember hearing once in a judicial hearing, I think it was Eric from JW Struggle, his documented judicial hearing, and he made a very valid point. He told the elders, and he was bringing up the quote-unquote apostate things that he didn't like about the Watchtower, which were researched very well. But one of the things he said to them is, he goes, C.T. Russell, the founder of the Watchtower, he was an apostate from his Presbyterian background.
Right.
He didn't want to believe what his parents believed, and he apostatized from it. Really, that's all it means. Mm-hmm. And for anybody to have more than that as an allergic reaction is just ridiculous. Your father is... you have to pardon, but what I observe from you when you say these things, I see the pain in your face, the sadness. Your family is being so unkind to you.
My sister said she was afraid of me. I was like, when I'm not a witness, you're afraid of me, but when I am, then you're my best friend. Oh, I love you, sis. Come over and spend the night. And you want me to stay in your house with you, but when I'm not a witness, you're afraid of me. Why?
Right.
I become a monster overnight. You know?
Right.
Like a scared person in the bed. Like, I don't
Right.
care.
Yeah. That's the funniest thing. That's one thing that I tried to address with my own parents the few times I've been able to talk to them. And I tell them, I said, I'm the same person, really. I just don't believe the Jehovah's Witness way of ideology. I don't believe in that.
We have that right.
Right. And I said, I'm still your son. I love you both. And you can tell, you know, ever since I was disfellowshipped, I can tell they might try to say something somewhat nice, but you know they're very hesitant to love you, to treat you kindly. And here you are, you're trying to set things straight on a very personal level with them, saying this is what's going on. And if they would just give you half their minds and say, this is why it's so hard for her. This is why she's struggling.
They don't want to hear it.
Right.
It's the truth in their face. They don't want to hear it.
Right. They don't want to hear the truth. And I'm really, my heart goes out to you in this tragedy that you have been through. You wanted to let this story out, and Matt, there's no hiding it now, and you deserve this. You've been a monster. You owe your sister a heartfelt apology.
The sad thing is I know it'll never be heartfelt.
Right, it won't be. It'll always be resentful, because it sounds like to me they look at you like you're the problem.
I started it. So my mom said, why did you start this? See what you started?
Right.
The last time I came back, like I said, to be reinstated for the second time, some years ago. My father was so excited, so happy. Oh, my daughter's back. She's coming back. He was so happy. He was in tears. And I've only seen my father in tears twice, and because of me. He was in tears. He was so excited. He told Matthew, your sister's back. You know, she's getting reinstated. He was so excited. Matt dropped his head. Because my father kind of told me, he said, Matt dropped his head, looked at the ground, and said, man, now I got to worry about her telling my secret.
Right. That's what he said.
That's it.
That's all he cares about. Yeah.
I told everybody, I said, you know, I might have told Matt, you know, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's, you know, but worry. Because from this point forward and even, man, behind the last few years, I've told everybody to stand still long enough to hear what I have to say.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of being quiet and hushed, silenced, and told to shut up, and it didn't matter. It does matter.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know how to talk about these things. This is so, it's like you have a ton of bricks on your back and you can't let it off, but hopefully today you were able to take some of those bricks off and let it out there. I have a few subscribers that will be able to hear this story, and they're going to be able to relate to you, what you're going through, and know what it was like. I just don't understand why your parents.
Because that's how they were taught. That's how they were taught. You know,
just to be
I had
quiet
to finally,
about
I had
it.
to finally come to the point. I think it was about 2 years ago. I was in the shower one day and
You
I was
needed,
like, man,
you needed protection. You
I know.
needed to be protected.
I know, and I wasn't. And
your father, where your mother, what they allowed your brother to have his way with you in those horrible ways, and they thought it was dealt with, and it continued for years. And here you are, you just shared an experience about getting reinstated, and his body language, everything told you he's guilty. He knows what kind of person he was. He may still be that way. Who knows?
He had to come out and tell his wife, because nobody knew except the elders that came to the house and my parents. And then, of course, I never really spoke about it to too many people. Right. But he had to open up, and he had to tell his wife and his son, because he knew that it was going to come out. You know, I told my sons, but I didn't tell them who did it. And my son said, if you don't tell me, I'm going to find out, you know, because I told him, hey, I've been through a lot. This is why I am who I am, you know. My kids are very understanding, thankfully. Unfortunately, they're starting to be swayed, you know, the wrong direction, I say. But hey, they have the right to their own beliefs and thoughts as well, you know.
Right.
It just hurts, but Matthew just doesn't care, and it's not like I said, I'll never get a heartfelt apology. I know it'll never mean from him, you know, what's coming out of his mouth ever. I just want.
Is that what you? I know you kind of say it's never going to happen, or it won't be sincere, but is that something? Do you?
I don't want him to speak to me. I don't even want him to ever look my direction again. I just want him to know he's wrong, and I'm not going to be silenced anymore.
Yeah.
Because somebody else can be helped.
Right.
I'll speak up for everybody that can't speak for themselves.
Right.
It's not right.
No, it's not. It's not right. It's not right at all. So, I know this is a this video, what we're making today is a very tender, emotional type of video, and I know you. I'll be honest with you. You know, I heard a little bit about this story through you, and your cousins, and Kelly, and I'll be honest with you, I was very hesitant on making a video with you, because it's painful, and I just if it's going to help you feel a little better getting your message out, then I guess this is a very good thing for you to do, and also to alert the community about people like Matt Bennett. Just for a little information, Matt Bennett actually lives right around the corner from my house. Ever since I was disfellowshipped, I've never seen him again. I have seen his son a couple times in the front yard mowing the lawn, but I've actually never seen him. So, but that's how close. And I used to go to the same congregation, the Wapato Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, over here on Hosmer Street in Tacoma. And Matt Bennett was someone that I remember serving the congregation, and I never knew these things about him, and I'm rather shocked that an individual like you, Matt, if you're watching this video, would have the gall to serve as an elder, knowing your background. And I can only imagine that you're judging other people that are in similar circumstances that you were involved with in your very own life as a young man or a teenager with your own sister. It's tragic to hear this, and how Megan's family completely ignored the situation. It was like they turned a blind eye, and every time there was a problem, they would blame Megan for everything.
He admits to it right on Jack's committee meeting. You know?
Yeah.
I have a jaded past that I'm not so proud of.
Right.
Thanks, Matt.
See, now, she brings up a very valid point. See, Sean, this is how I met Sean, and maybe I'll do a video with Sean. he sent me an email, and he says, I really need to talk to you. And I, of course, became very good friends with Sean, but he told me that's my cousin talking in that video. He's one of the elders, and he has a real interesting past, and he gave me a few details about it. And of course, you've told me quite a bit more, and it's shocking to know this about him. And you know, personally for me, Matt, just if you're watching this video, do the right thing. Do the right thing. First of all, stop being an elder. Stop judging other people. In that judicial committee meeting, just like you said, he said to Jack Poley, he says, I have a past, a jaded past or whatever, that he's not proud of. And to know that he's an elder today,
Sick.
yeah, it's, do you think by any chance he's like that still today? He's still that kind of a person?
I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
I have a clue. I don't.
But you know, you're in a situation now where you are on hard times, you're struggling, and your very own family are shunning you, even though you're living right in front of their house. And you get to talk to your kids, right?
They don't say much.
They don't say much. Do you feel that your parents say things to your kids? Do you feel
My
that
mother
they do?
used to, but she's gone now. She passed away in October.
Yeah, your mom died.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
My father, I know he doesn't say anything. Well, I don't know what he says. I'm not in the house. I don't know, and they don't tell me otherwise. But I know that they used to speak to me and, you know, hug me and stuff. Now I have to make them talk to me. I'm like, hey, how you doing? How you doing today? I'm your mom still, you know. Because I brought it to my father one day. When I walked past him, I said, you know what, Dad? I said, I'm sick of this. I said, I'm walking through this house and nobody talks to me. I said, I appreciate the use of your shower and things. This was before this talk. But I told him, I said, write in your very own Bible. You say, honor thy father and thy mother. I said, but at the same time, you say, and the brothers and whoever else tells my children, my sons, oh, but your mom has mental health issues, you know. Well, hello, thank you, Matt, for, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It helped me be the person I am today, but she has mental health issues, so you don't have to listen to her or honor her so much. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? I said, you're contradicting yourself. It's hypocritical. It makes no sense. I said, those are my children. They will not disrespect me. They will not ignore me. When I went in their presence, they're going to speak.
Right.
I said, that's how my kids were raised, and that's how they're still going to be. I said, man, it's crap. You know what I'm saying? And I was cussing. I kept, excuse me, Dad, excuse me, Dad. You know what I mean? But this is bullshit. I was like, and they're not going to ignore me. I'm still here.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't want them to miss me when I'm gone, because I'm here now. You speak to me when I'm in your presence. When I walk into a home, you better get up and say something. You know what I'm saying? But still, this is what they're being taught, is they don't have to have that same honor for me because I have issues, because I'm crazy. You know what I mean? And it's unfair. It's unfair, but
well,
they don't know no better. That's what they're taught.
This is a lot of times commonly the residual effect of the way Jehovah's Witnesses when they treat their own families. A lot of us have struggles like this. Myself, when I was disfellowshipped, I nearly killed myself. I made a decision to overdose on some pills, and I ended up I checked myself in. I called a suicide hotline. It pretty much was a nervous breakdown. And I checked myself into St. Joe's Medical Center, and I was there for, I think, a little over a week.
Wow.
And got a lot of good counseling there, but I had a horrible crisis myself through this, and you know, with all due respect, the gravity of my situation, I'm going to say, is not even close to what you have been through personally.
And somebody else is going through it way worse.
Right. Somebody else is, Megan said it, somebody else is even getting it worse from the Watchtower and the dysfunctional families that they produce. in that organization. These are the symptoms that we all hear of all the time. It's awful. I have met so many people. I've met so many women like yours, where it's a relative, maybe it's a brother or a sister, and it went on for years, and how somebody in the family, maybe it's a dad or an uncle that's an elder, and they go up to this girl and they say, "You don't want to bring reproach on Jehovah's name."
Right.
You know, they say
that.
things like that, and they guilt
that.
you and shame you and suppress you and oppress you anymore, when they should be defending the victim.
What happened with my father, I'm thinking, everybody has their own perception, but what I see is that my father, he was a ministerial servant, and he loved it. He loved it. He thrived on that. It was so important for him to have that part. Well, when I was disfellowshipped, they knocked him down. He couldn't be a ministerial servant anymore because I lived in his household, and he couldn't keep me under control. You know what I mean? I was in jail. My father didn't have a choice. I remember he came out of that room, he threw his Bible, he was so upset. No, that wasn't when I was in jail. I think it was the first time. But anyways, I remember him throwing his Bible, and he was so mad, and he said, "Fuck this Kingdom Hall," and out the door he went. And he was so hurt, but I know that he wanted that position so bad, so it's like he said, the reproach on Jehovah's name, my father felt like I was doing that, and he wanted his position as ministerial servant, and I think that maybe that's a part of why, like, he has no problem cutting me off, because that's more important, you know what I mean?
Right.
That moves him, that makes him feel good to be a ministerial servant, or to do something in the congregation, and he can't do that if I'm around.
Well,
if that makes sense, you know what I mean? Like,
it does make sense to me, but what you're saying,
I keep on giving him an excuse.
I understand that, but it seems like he's more upset about his position being lost than his own family. And I heard an expression a long time ago from a neighbor I used to have down in California, and he said, "Charity starts at home first." And it's amazing how Watchtower leadership is able to program people to think a certain way where they forget about their own families. There's a scripture in the Bible, I think it says something about, if I remember correctly, a man that doesn't provide for his whole family, and I think providing is not just financially, but it's emotionally, protection, everything. I kind of apply it that way, where if a man is lacking in that area, like your father seems to be, he's pretty much an infidel. Your father's a fool. He's been made nothing but a puppet for the Watchtower, and he's forgotten his whole family in the, you know.
He texts me sometimes, every once in a while, every few months, he says, even though, you know, you're out there, or you're not with us, or you've left Jehovah, he always says. He says, "I still love you, I'll always love you, you're still my daughter." I said, "Well, you don't have a choice there." You know, we look just alike. I'm your blood, you know, you're still my daughter. He's like, "I love you," but, and that's it.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
So let me ask you, I know things are not easy for you, it's difficult, but you are a survivor.
I'm a motherfucking warrior.
I know you are a survivor, and you get through the days. But let me ask you, is there anything you do once in a while that helps you give a little hope in your own personal life, that gives you a little peace, or to keep you going? Is there anything you do on your journey that helps you get through?
Tell myself to exhale.
To exhale, yes.
Exhale.
Something I need to do.
I hold my breath often. I don't know. I just sometimes I need that friendly reminder to keep going, because I always just want to lay down and stop.
Yeah.
I think about my sons, and I'm like, man, I just.
Have you ever? Do you do anything just out of curiosity, anything spiritual, personal wise? I mean, you don't necessarily have to go to church, but do you?
You can have church on a street corner. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to have 4 walls, but
right.
I talk all the time. Most times to myself, but I talk to God like I could talk to you.
Yeah.
You know, I have a personal relationship. It's not about going and sitting in a building somewhere and or praying 5 times a day, or you know what I'm saying, or what. I've studied a lot of different areas. I just talk to them. I'll be like, "Hey, it's me. Is that you? I know that's you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still here. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm thankful."
So you have little channels you go to in your personal life to help you get some solace, a little bit of peace, and to help recharge those batteries a little bit.
I usually I love music. I just love music. It's very moving for me, and I usually just turn on music and I walk and I look at all the things that God created, and I talk to people. Actually, they talk to me. They come out of nowhere. People stop me, excuse me, and I'll be like, oh. They're like, man, and somebody always has something to say. You're so tall, and that'll start a conversation. And then usually I end up sharing about my life, and so I get a chance to talk to quite a few people.
Right.
Because I love people of all walks of life.
Right.
I know people from everywhere that sleep on the streets, because I've slept on so many corners, under trees, and I know doctors and attorneys and people that they say are the top, but who's to say what's the top and what's the bottom? I say it's the other way around, you know? I don't know.
Well, listen, I'm happy to help you get your story out. Now, this might be a little hard for you, but I think there's a good chance Matt Bennett will see this video. Is there anything you would like to directly say to Matt Bennett, your brother?
I want to say, I hope that he's changed for the better. I hope that he's protected his son and protected his wife all these years, and nothing ever happens to them like it's happened to me, that he's taking good care of them.
Right.
That's all.
Okay. Well, we felt this was a story that had to get out there, and I'm happy to help Megan do this. And Matt, I hope I never see you walking down the street in my neighborhood, because I'm liable to come up to you and talk to you about some of this. I'm not going to attack you. I'm not going to punch your lights out, even though I think somebody in your life should have, like your dad. I know that doesn't sound very healthy, like healthy discipline, but Matt, this is ridiculous. Be a real man and step down as an elder. That's the first thing that you need to do. Stop judging other people's lives. Stop disfellowshipping people. Look at your own sister that you won't even make peace with. It's horrible. And Matt, I'm going to send this video to you because I have your messenger address on my phone. I'm going to send this to you. And you need to step down as an elder. You do. And you need to spend quality time and try to heal a lot of these damages that you created. I don't like how your Kingdom Hall gives you a free pass to be an elder when you can't even work things out with your own family. And I know this is rather bold. I hope I don't get in trouble calling your brother out like that, but he shouldn't be doing this. Shouldn't be doing this.
He knew it was coming.
Yeah. And this is only the beginning. It sounds like you're going to be doing some other stuff with some other people, sharing some points about your experiences and how hard it's been for you, because the trauma, it's very noticeable. It's easy to see. And
I'm just ready to stand up for the next child that can't stand up for themselves. I'm really sick and tired of having been sick and tired all these years.
Right.
So everybody deserves a chance, man, except for
Yeah.
Matt. Oh, and I'm not the judge. Forgive me, Lord, for you speaking like that, but man,
Right. Well,
so unfair.
his reputation now is no good in our community, and this is her brother that we're talking about, and let's just start from this point on with this video, and I hope that you're able to connect with some others and get your story out even more, maybe on some other platforms, and we'll see where it goes.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, and I'm only a phone call or a message away on the phone, and keep in touch with Sean and Kelly, and
It's my family.
let me give you a hug real quick. Let me give you a hug.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You're gonna be okay. Let me turn off that video here.